Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and we are going to go through every one of the feathers for the Pale Heart. We're going to go through everything from the Lost City all the way through to the Transgression, and then also I'm going to show you where the 6 are within the Dual Destiny mission as well. So timestamps will be for each section. The triumphs aren't very specific, it's just if you've got 5 of 5, so if you're missing 1 in a certain area, you might just have to check the ones and follow along, but I try and do as smooth of a path as I can. So let's go through each section, jump ahead to any other timestamp sections you need, share this with anybody who needs it, and here we go. Hello everybody, it is Ebontis, and we are going to go through the feather locations all through the Pale Heart, and then also in the Dual Destiny mission. Timestamps will be down below, so jump to any section you need. And I'm going to go through each section in kind of the most fluid path around each zone as possible. So to start, we're going to be in the Lost City, so if you load into the Lost City and come over here to the window, then you should be able to just jump down and follow me and get all of them. If there's any certain ones you're looking for, then try and just follow along with the ones that you've had previously. So out in this first zone, there's going to be one up there on top of that little AC unit, but we're going to come back to it because we're going to head that direction afterwards anyway, so we may as well head over here to the corner. All the way back here, make sure and follow your jumps. We're going to the back corner. Probably will have to kill a few enemies, so I apologize about that. I'll do my best to avoid, where possible, having to deal with too many of these. And once you kind of get to this cross section between the 4 buildings, come to the right corner edge, basically farthest from your entrance. And what you're going to do is find this box here, and we're going to jump up. And then we're going to go up on top of this tree here. Right up here will be your first one. Go ahead and collect that. I haven't actually gathered any of them yet, so that will be my first one as well, since I'm doing this all together for a guide. So then when we run back, we're going to head, as I said, to that like little AC unit on the side of a building looking thing, grab that one, and then we'll proceed farther into the Lost City and some of the outskirts. Sorry about my voice, by the way. I'll explain it some other day on the podcast, but yeah, if it's a little off, I apologize. Did a little bit of yelling yesterday, but we're okay. All right, so from here, we're just going to get up on top of that. So if you need a little help going vertical, you can probably jump over here. Jump up and grab this one. And then we will continue to head back. As you make it through here, this next one is one where you can skip almost this whole combat section. And it's like the in-between traversal piece. So all this little middle area, we can just run right through it. It's going to be the one kind of on that tree. I'm sure some of these, many of you have picked up on the way. So if you're following along on the video, you may have some of these, but if you follow along, at least this way you won't miss any of them either. Gotta actually kill the... So once you get to this point, we would be heading across that direction. We're going up in this tree. As long as I don't die trying to get there. Which I did. How am I alive? Alright, may as well just finish that one off. Quick respawn, and we'll try again. Hopefully with nobody shooting me. Alright. I don't know if I just need to get a better running jump at it. Or just try and hit one of the tree branches that are along the way. It's not always clear where the branches are, but try and get up here in the tree, and this will be number 3 for this section. And when you're done here, you can keep going back. Nice way to get a few enhancement cores as you run through, since there's like 50 of these things. Be nice as some of these are pretty hidden to get more than 1 enhancement core, but what are you going to do? Alright, when you get back here towards the portal section, which always looks pretty cool, this one's pretty hard to catch unless you're looking for it, because if you're looking down the path, like, it's one that is easily missable. But it's truly just right above it on that tree branch. If you kind of start up here on this rock, and then aim for that tree branch, I was able to actually get a decent little grab up here. And then this will be number 4. This one is up on this tree before you head past this area. And then the final one is actually pretty high up in a tree, so you're going to have to put in a little bit of work on this one just to get up to it. At least I did. Put a little graviton work in. Been messing around with the void burns on the Enigma Protocol mission. Alright, so once you get outside, you're just going to start scaling this tree. I mean, just jumping up on some of these flower patches gave me kind of enough verticality to keep going more. vertical up over here. Not the easiest thing. Still trying to actually proceed all the way up here over this edge. And this will be number 5. So that is everything in the Lost City. Triumph should pop up. Now we're going to go to the landing. All right, so the next location we're going to be in is the landing. We're going to basically be going south or counterclockwise around kind of the outer rim of the region and coming back to the starting point here up at the top. So when you load in from your little location right here, turn to the right and up on this roof, you're going to have the first one. And if I miss one in here, it's honestly just because it was one that I didn't even know existed and had to go find it, but we'll see what the Triumph says. So this will be the first one. And we're going to hop on over and head towards this waterfall area. For other stuff, you may have had to go up in that building, but it's this one you've probably seen here on the ledge. And I am covering every single one for each location, so you may have easily picked up some of these before. So this is number 2. Alright, try and kill a few enemies as I go through this thing just to make sure it's a bit as smooth as possible. At this point, you're probably going to want to jump on the Sparrow for a bit of a smoother travel. Maybe not through there, but we're going all the way to this back corner over here. All the way over here. Back in this region where you've maybe fought an overthrow boss, you've got this one up here on top of this rock. Then as you head towards Refraction, it's going to be down over here on this edge area. You're actually going to be able to see it from this side better, but down here on the edge of this tree, it's right there. Just not the best angle to see it where we are. So we're going to traverse over. Alright, so we're going to have a bit of an edit here. Sorry about that. I did miss one in the circle, and I'll probably mention that there towards the end. But once you get over to this section right here, so I mentioned that we were going to head over to that branch and pick one up. Well, also we have one underneath this floating platform. So if you jump over to the right, and again, you're facing towards that direction, you're going to fall down kind of here, and you're going to see it down here on this branch. We're going to try and do a little careful landing here. And this will be the last one for the landing. At least for the edit, but we'll get to the end of this section for the landing, and sorry about the weird edit in the middle. I don't think I could make that jump, so I'm just going to go out the tree like I did last time. The easiest way to do is just follow to the top of this tree here, and then slowly walk your way down so you don't fall too hard. Grab that one and come back up. From here, you're actually probably able to drive it. You don't have to go up the ramp, but everybody here wants to kill me. Anyway, so where we are is this under area. And if you want a location on the map just to see it, I really wish that thing would senior on you. I'm literally right here in this location, but I've gone under the tunnel, and it's just one down a ledge. And again, if you want to see that again from a little better perspective, just to show you guys where I was. So from over here, this is the tree that we walked out to. Instead of going up the ramp kind of like I did, you could truly just drive straight into this tunnel. And it's going to be right down there on that ledge. Once you've got that, you can cross through the tunnel. We're going to turn over here to the right. See who can survive my Graviton Lance. And then once you get out here where we talked with Cade previously, you're going to look over the edge and there's a tree. Try and find the solid branch here. And if you can do that, you should be close enough to be able to get to the pickup. And then climbing up, definitely going to be a little bit harder, but you do have this ledge over here. Should be able to climb up to this ledge. And if we go around, we're trying to just go vertical to get up and around this area. And whether you're in the middle of overthrow or not, you can always work on that in between doing the rest of this stuff. But the easiest way for me to show you where it's at is to jump out here on this ledge, and there's this tiny little balcony right over here. So if you get close back to this waterfall, you'll eventually be able to look down and see the balcony, fall down to it, And the feather should be inside. Alright, now that we are done with the landing, we will proceed to the next zone, the Refraction. Alright, so for the Refraction, you need to go through the landing to follow my path, but then get through all of the crystal areas until you actually get kind of through these doors and then outside. Once you're out here, there are only 5 in this zone, not too hard to get to. Hopefully the enemies don't slow me down too much, but just turn over here to your left, follow this path. I'm going to stay on this outer edge, and then once you get over here, we're going to jump up and grab it on this little crystal up here if we can. I'm going to stand on this ledge, it's probably a little easier. Excuse you, enemies. Alright, so then we'll go around this big canyon, which usually is holding a ogre. And then from here, we're going to go through quite a few. So let me kill this ogre so I can point him out. Got one up here on this ledge. Got one over here kind of above this crashed ship. And one just past that statue up above. So for the path, kind of jump on this rock structure here so you can get a little elevation. Jump over here. Or fail at your jump in the middle of a video, it's fine. Alright, there you go. A little bit of elevation. This will be number 2 in the region. Nope. Come on. If you gotta stand on the ledge, that'll probably work better. We're going to go straight across the way, kind of the old crash ship, like our original ship in Destiny 1. We're going to go up and grab this one on top of the rocks in the tree. There we go. This one is right here. Next one will actually be up this direction, so just turn right around and start climbing up this stone structure. Once you get up here by what I thought was a statue, just a weird stone structure, and hopefully not get killed by too many enemies if I can help it. Just going to kind of follow this tree branch all the way out here, and you should be able to find it right here, just kind of in the middle. Last one, you can kind of make a beeline to it for this last one in the region. Killing a few guys as we go. Once you turn this corner to head towards this final section, don't go too far. Like if you go through this archway, you've gone too far. And number 5 will be right up here. That should be all 5. Should be our triumph for the Refraction. And now that the Refraction is done, we can head to the Blooming. So you may as well just teleport there. Alright, so for the feathers in the Blooming, we're going to start here at the landing zone, go grab one, and then kind of go around the entire outer rim to get the rest of them. So when you land, you're typically going to be right here. And I'm going to go over to this tree real quick. Main reason I'm going to that tree, it's kind of the one that's off the outer rim. We're going to go ahead and jump up in that tree, get the one we need, and then we're going to go diving back into that tunnel under there, and then hit the whole outer section. I can not fail at my jumps here. Alright, so for this tree, it's up on this branch straight above, so what I've found is kind of the easiest thing to do is to crawl up here, jump on this branch right here, do a quick U-turn, and should be right up here. So this will be number 1. We've got 8 total in this zone. So from here, easiest thing for you to do, jump on your Sparrow, drive into this tunnel, and everything else will be almost around the outside edge the whole time. So once you get in here, we're just going to go jumping up on these rocks behind the entrance. So as you enter this kind of secluded area, turn to your right, jump up here on the rock, and this will be number 2. You come back outside, we're going to exit this little side area. And it's going to be right behind us when we leave. So don't go blasting too quickly out of here. As soon as you see this doorway, just jump up on these rocks right here. And then we're going to jump right up here. The angles are weird, but this gives you the best shot of getting up here. You don't fall down. Oh, come on. Really? Told you it's a little weird. I don't know why I'm sliding off, but this should be the next one. And then when you come out here, you can actually jump right up into this tree from this platform here, which will kind of speed your jumping process along, because then we're going to jump onto this platform here. Up over here. And we're going to make the long jump over here. Right here, collecting our next one. The next one we're going for is way up on that cliffside over there. It's up over there. So the best way I've found to get way up there is actually just kind of head up to the top and kind of loop around the upper deck area. If you're doing any overthrow, you could do this in the middle of it. That's fine too. Trying to make my way around. So from here, I always seem to have to jump into this tree. So quick long jump to get up here. A little bit higher. I'll land on this little branch, get walking out here, and then just go for a nice long triple jump out this direction for the next one. From here, we're going to go down into kind of that central overflow area, or overthrow area. So down here, once you get to this area, just drive on in the inside, and it's going to be up inside this tree. So once you get to about here, you should see it up here to your right. Just find a place where you can kind of jump up and get a little verticality. And apparently I'm going to get suspended by a subjugator, which is fun. Right up here is your feather. You can drop on down and exit this area. If you want to kill that guy for the overthrow, that's totally fine. I'm going to exit. And as soon as you drive straight out of that door, just go all the way to the corner over here as you can see it, is the next feather. Might be a little hard to grab that edge. If that's the case, you can just kind of climb up over here. Should be able to get your way to the top. Alright, so the next one, and what I believe is the final one, is probably a little harder to get to. We're going to go over here and kind of explain the way I've found, at least for me, that works. So once you get to this area right here, if you're looking on the map, I'm over on this left-hand side. Jumping up here onto this tree, kind of like anywhere you can get a landing spot. Well, this is a weird one, so give me a sec. And we're trying to get over to those rocks, but I need a good view of them first. So we're trying to get over here. So get to where you can actually see where you're jumping. And then you can jump over here. And we're going to that ledge, but if it's easier for you to get to the one above it and then drop down, might just be a little better visibility. Should be able to grab that one. And that should be everything in the blooming. So the next place we're going to go is Seclusion and the Divide. So I'm going to see what the best path is, possibly for just both of those straight through. So let me do that investigation and we'll cut forward to that piece. Alright, so for the Seclusion, I went through the blooming and then kind of weaved back and forth through all those story caverns. They all look weird, kind of like this. And then you jump through this wall. You'll be out here at basically Zavala's cabin. Try not to spend too long killing these guys, but that should clear some of them out. So once you come in, there are 5 in this area. 4 are here, and then 1 is on kind of the exit tunnel. So the first one is up here to your left. Second one is not too far away. It's in this tree, trunk of the tree. Just been using this gun mostly because it's nice to clear things at range, so you can stand up here in the tree and actually collect it. Next one we're going to grab is down kind of off this ledge over here. It's actually down on a rock, which one of those things you wouldn't think you might be able to get to, but it actually won't kill you down here. So here's our little rock pickup. The next one is going to be on this outer edge, just in the far, far corner before you actually take the cavern exit. So you can just skip on past all of this stuff. Excuse you, leave me alone. Alright, so that's going to be your exit cave. If you just head up to the right side over by this wall, you'll be able to drop down and grab this one. And as there's a total of 5, you've only got 1 more to go. So head into kind of the exit to the Seclusion as you would be heading to the Divide, which will be the next piece of the video. But work through the cave until you kind of get to the more open cavern, not these little tight spaces. And this last one's hard to miss as you progress through because it kind of just jumps out at you. So you may have already picked this one up. If you did, it's not going to be too hard to confirm. Got a few ads in here that I want to make sure I take out though. Alright, so once you get to this area, kind of hard to miss it over here on this floating ledge. You easily could have grabbed this already because you passed through here plenty of times on campaign type of things. So that is everything for the Seclusion. And then as we head to the divide, we will cover that next. All right, so for the 5 feathers in the divide, my recommendation is to come from the Impasse, because you might be coming at this at a later time than the order of the video. The other thing is if you come from the Seclusion, you've still got more traversal through the Seclusion to get, you know, some of the feathers that you may have, but you're going to have to go through the building corridor anyway at some point. So you may as well just do it from the start. And the backtracking that you have to do once you're in the divide in the snowy area is actually not that far. So the next set we're going to do is the divide. Now, I know the previous part of the video is the Seclusion. My advice is still to go to the Impasse and just like drive right over here to the doorway for the divide, because you're going to have to go through the building area one way or the other. And this way you're only going to have to go through it once, and the backtracking kind of like down the hill is honestly very minimal, because then everything else is going to be farther north in the divide. So my recommendation is, 1, not be dead. 2, when you come to the Impasse, just come in this door, and then you can follow my path here. Now, this is a bit of a long run, so I do apologize about the probably length of the entire video. I just want you guys to be able to run along with me while I do these, so I hope that is okay. If you'd prefer me to speed up sections like this, truly just let me know. I'm totally fine with that too. But what you're going to be looking for is the big open section in between kind of these 2 main zones. It's where the Shrieker is going to be, so you'll kind of have a pretty good signal when you actually get here. Passing through this area as quick as possible. I'll take the ammo. Oh, come on, really? Alright, so we have our Shrieker. And kill these few guys so I don't die. Alright, once you are here, what we're going to do is we're actually climbing way, way up high. So my advice is, you're calling how you get up there if you want to use something like grapple, and for half of these things that you go through, grapple is something I truly would advise. But we're going to go vertical, so you're going to be using these pipe edges to get as high as you can, and then it gets a little spicy on the last jump. Doing this on a Hunter, not my favorite class for jumping. I'm still spoiled by my Titan, apparently. Alright, so from here, standing on this thing, just kind of walk a little farther forward, trying to jump up there. Last time I actually jumped up here, and I was able to land that one reasonably. This time didn't want to work that way, so we'll see if I don't die here. Alright, so we're going to be going right up there, but last time I actually jumped up that direction. I don't know if that's going to work so well, because I tried it before and it didn't work the best. Something like even going over here on these pipes might give you the verticality that's going to make this a little bit more comfortable for you. And then if you can kind of get up on these rafters, you've got a much easier jump across. Just watch your landing there, but basically you're trying to get up here. So sorry about the cut in the middle, I fell and died, but this is the first one for the divide. But just know you've got to go, I jumped over onto this pipe to jump up on that platform, jumped up here, and then however you want to try and find verticality. I think I jumped up on these once, I jumped up on that pipe to get up here, but you need to get up to this really high platform on the side. So now we're going to go into the whole snowy part of the divide, which is probably more what you're thinking of when you think about this section. Hopefully we can get through it pretty quickly. This one's probably one of the most spread out. Like, the other ones are just drive around a zone real quick and hit the outskirts most of the time. This one is a lot more running through the snow and covering a lot of ground. You'll recognize some of this when you're rolling the tumbleweed down the hill, because it's usually parked right about there when you do the tumbleweed here. Fun music, at least. Slowly but surely, these are some long runs. So when you come out, we're going to get the south one first, a little bit lower down. Probably have to kill a few more guys while we do it. That's the one that makes the tumbleweed, by the way. Roll it down the hill and put it on the spot. So when we're coming over here, okay, we got a witch. Gonna head back this direction, and it's not that far back here, which is very appreciated. It's literally right down there. It's pretty easy to miss because it took me a little while to find it. But once you actually know where to look, it's not too bad. It's right down here. And that's the one you're looking for. Alright, so that's 2. And it's the divide. It's all these middle traversal sections. They tend to only have 5 instead of the big main sections, which do have 8 in them. So now that we can get our flight going back, watch your jumps, make sure you catch your falls. And now we are going to be going north. So as we go north, you're going to be climbing up the hills. Nothing too far, like, crazy out of the way here that you've got to go weird for. You just got to mostly make sure you don't run by them. So as we jump over this gap, you're going to want to take the left side to get height to where you're going. And then we will be pretty close to our next one here. So run around this edge. You'll see this big wall of cars, and this is the mountain that you want to start scaling. So however you can find the height to get up where you need to get to, start climbing on these little perches that you can find. And then if you can get kind of on the spine of this mountain, should start making some progress. And you'll probably have seen this one from a different direction, but it's right here on top of the mountain. So that's the next one. And then as we climb... Climb. Now, this is probably one of those points, as I said, if you want to use a grapple in some of these sections to speed up this process, totally get it and actually do recommend it. Because some of these would be a lot quicker done that way. Now, this one we're actually trying to go almost all the way to the top, and then the final one's on, like, the very back wall. Right before you start descending back down into things. So you'll be going up these platforms. Just do your standard jumps up for now. And then it's once you make your little U-turn, it's actually kind of right up there. Very, very easy to miss without turning around to look for it. So keep climbing outside, and then what you're looking to do is go up to that. But my recommendation, actually, go up one more tier, because I kind of slipped and fell off of that one. It's easier to drop down from above to get to that one. Final one's over there on the wall. We'll get to that in a second. This one, once you start looking out over the edge, you'll know where your falling point is at. And there's only one real place you can stand to get the feather to count, because anywhere else, like, remotely nearby is going to be turned back. So it doesn't take too long to get angry at you. Alright, that is 4 of 5. We'll get this last one on the back wall, and we will be done the divide. Then I really would just teleport straight to the impasse again, because you don't need to run all the way back over there. So this one back here just tucked up on these kind of hollow building structures. Moth is going to get me. And this is 5 of 5 for the divide. There's a triumph. Alright, now to the impasse. Alright, so for the impasse, we've got 8 since it is a big zone, and we're just going to go in a big circle. So, from when you actually land in the landing zone, you will appear facing this direction. First thing we're going to do is get this one up on the light pole. So you're going to jump up in this tree, and we're going up here on this light pole. If I can land it right, there we go. This is number 1. Most direct thing you can do is just kind of fall right down here, fall between the 2 highways. And you're going to jump right up here on this statue. Of course, I'm going to get blinded. Try and climb our way up here. And number 2 is pretty much straight below the one on top of the highway. And then the direction we're going to head around the map is going to be this way. If that's the map counterclockwise, forgive me if I'm wrong. So, go like you're heading towards the Lost Sector. You may have picked this one up already. Pretty easy to spot if you did. But this is going to be our 3rd one up on this little ridge here. And then we're going to head all the way back to the back corner. So the next one is way up there in the back. Pretty much easier just to go in one big circle though. So there was one that was close to the beginning, but we'll circle around. For me, I found if I can walk back up to this ledge here, jump up on this section, should be able to get up high enough right back here. So we've already got 4. We had the one on top and bottom of the highway, over on the opposite side of this cliff, the one in the corner. Now we're going to head... What direction is this? Due east. All the way up on top of those kind of blocks up there, up on top of the tree. Not really a great way to get here. If you're running around picking these things up, I probably said it in other sections, grapple would be so nice to speed this process along. When you get to this that looks like the Beetlejuice mask for whatever reason, it's a little terrifying. We can go ahead and jump up in... Maybe. There we go. Triple jump activate there. And up inside this tree, if you want to know kind of the positioning of the tree, it is right here. Go ahead and grab this one. Not going to shoot anything because I don't want like level 2 to kick in. So I'm trying to avoid that if I can. So we got 3 more. One up on that hand way up there. You guys can probably see it as I head to it. Easiest way I found to get up here, just for lack of effort and normal jumping, right up here on these kind of big pylons. 1, 2, 3. Land this one. We're up to 6. The next one is going to be up on that little spire over there. So however you feel like climbing. Typically the structure of like the hands and the fingers and stuff is a good way to get up there and get high enough. But it really just kind of depends on what you can land on half the time. Land on his head. Land on his nose. Nope, no nose. There we go. Should be high enough to grab this one. There we go. And the last one is kind of back full circle, basically right behind where you start, because you start up on that ridge with that little ghost icon. But what we're going to head to is way over here in this corner for these buildings. It's over on this far right little ledge. Probably had like overthrow level 1 seems to always take me over here for some reason, sometimes 2. Once you're kind of in this area, what you're looking for is just this last little bit of rocks over here. And this will be number 8 of 8 for the Impasse. Alright, Impasse should be done. And now to the Transgression. Alright, so the final 5 outside of Dual Destiny, even though these are the last 5 I'm going to pick up while I'm making the video, they're going to be over here in the Transgression. So go from the Impasse, head over here east to the entrance of the Impasse, and we will cover these 5. They're all pretty straightforward, actually, which is nice. There's nothing too out of the ordinary, just a little bit of jumping puzzles to get there. And we're almost done. Lot of feathers to get, but we are almost there. So once you actually enter the Transgression, you're going to have one very close and then one kind of far off in the distance over here. So the first one, if you come over here to this tree to the left, you're going to be able to see it right over here just on this front little ledge. So this is number 1. And then what I did to get across and just head over here was just go straight sideways. And again, you're just trying to climb up these fingers. So however you can get on one of these little blocks, it's kind of up to you and what actually connects. Sometimes it'll let you, sometimes it won't. But if you can stand up here for long enough to pick it up, then we'll keep running. So that's 2. Alright, next ones are in the next area, actually. Just kind of keep working through these guys. Persistent grim that they are. And husks. Alright, these 2 are kind of hard to miss. So in the next little region, you've got this one down here on the tree branch. And here's number 3. Number 4 is up there on that hand statue. So however you feel like getting up there. I'm going to kill a few of these just so they don't kind of mess up my jumps. There we go. Alright, so last time I basically went from here to this floating hand. Right here. Jumped up, and then should be not too bad to get up here and get this one. So this is number 4. Last one for this section is just in this next room. It's actually not too far away, nothing too far hidden in the Transgression, which I appreciate. This should be my final one, and we will check all the triumphs. But if you are missing any of the random ones that you may or may not have picked up already, Honestly, you're probably just going to have to go through and check them all because there's not really a checklist as to which ones you do and don't have. So once you're in this room with the 2 statues where the bird would be going, we're actually going just up here to the top of the statues. And once you've got this one, we should be in good shape. That should be everything for the Pale Heart, now that I've got all of these, but that covers the Transgression. The next ones I'm going to show you are the ones in Dual Destiny, but when I recorded those, I recorded them out of order. But at this point, Feathers the Impasse flock together, and there you go. That is every feather in the Pale Heart. I think that's all 55, including Dual Destiny, which I will show you next. Alright, so in the Dual Destiny mission, your first feather is going to be once you kind of climb up the exit right down here below. So we're just going to drop down. Head down this little tunnel. There may be a crystal for time extension, maybe not, but this will be your first feather, number 1. Second one is not that far, so I'm going to get those together before I cut ahead. So you can kind of jump up here, work your way around the grass. There's a jump over to my right. If you want to make it, you can, but it's not that necessary. Most of the enemies in here are optional if you're punched for time too, so try and get through here about as quick as you can. You'll get rally flags if you need ammo. That kind of thing's never a big deal in here. How that guy's immune, I'll never know. We'll have a couple of snipers up top. If you're worried about those, you can tag them. And before you go too far, you just want to make sure you get through this little section. Alright, so where the Grim are all above you, come over here as you're heading towards this ledge. And you'll be looking down on this branch right here. Hopefully I don't die trying to get it. And that is number 2. So now we're going to cut ahead, and I'll show you where the next one's going to be. Alright, so your third feather is going to be right after this section. So when you have the big jump down with kind of the thin lit up staircase, come up the stairs, you might have a couple snipers, so check for who's planted where. And then we're going to head down to this right side. And then if you turn this corner, you might have a time crystal. That's what these do. They give you 2 extra minutes when you find them. And that is feather number 3. 3 to go. And then when you're getting out of here, all you got to do is take these little platforms to get back up and work your way through the level. So we'll cut forward to the next one. Alright, so once you've traversed up this section where you're both standing on plates and you kind of got to switch back and forth, the next feather is going to be tucked up here. So when you're up on the top level, now my advice on this one is potentially try and find a helmet that's going to give you maybe extra mobility if you've got one. Put a mobility mod on there. Just try and get as much mobility as you can. From this angle, what you're going to do is try and wedge yourself right in there. It's not the easiest jump to get, but if you kind of go 1, 2, depending on your class, it's not an easy jump to get. Thanks for the res. Only took a couple of tries, but I pretty much got to the point where I could land and just kind of run into the wall. And if you can get to that point, then you just turn around, jump up here, and then jump back around the corner, and number 4 is yours. So number 5 is after the Tormentors and the first clock section, so we'll jump ahead to that. So once you finish the first clock section with the 9 segments and the Tormentors coming in, you're going to get to this traversal section. And in here, you need to get to the end of it, and then we're going to kind of backtrack a bit to go get the next feather. Alright, so once you get to here, don't go actually through the doorway, turn to your right, and we're going to work our way up this tree. Now, I've got a crystal up there for time, so they're being a little generous on this run. Appreciate it. Now, this part's a little tough to see. If you bring out your ghost, you can kind of walk up it. You might have to do a bit of a blind jump. Once you get up over that little lip, you should be able to walk over the tree, slowly back here. And feather number 5 should be right back here. One more, and the part you're looking for, just to give you warning, do not go into like the teleporter that looks like it's the big funnel of hands. Don't go in that one. Don't even step on the portals. But I'm going to teleport once we get done with that section. All right, so when you're on the platform where there are the two tormentors and you've got the little tunnel of hands that you're going to travel through, don't step on the plates yet so you don't accidentally get sucked in. Come over here to the right side of the plate. You'll see this tree. We're going to walk down the tree branch and your final feather should be right here waiting for you. And there's the dual finder. So that is all the feathers for Dual Destiny. All right, everybody, that should be everything. So you should be able to clear all your triumphs, including Dual Destiny. Again, remember, you are going to have to find a buddy to run that one for those 5. But all 55 have been collected on my side and hopefully should be on yours as well. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like below, leave a comment if you just want to say hello or anything else you might want to throw down there in the comments just to be nice. And of course, if you enjoyed the content, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell, find me on Twitch or Twitter at Ebontis. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back in a future video. Have a good one.